Alright, so I've been moving away from making solely Roblox-related videos here on the channel. And then while I'm writing a script about just like how nostalgia has affected the overall gaming landscape, they drop The Classic. This deserves its own video, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So before I go all into detail on what makes this event great, I should say that this is just miles better than The Hunt in every possible way. They took a lot of feedback from what made The Hunt very bad, and made something that just feels authentically fun. So if you want to try it, I'd recommend going in blind. There's 15 games this time, and I'd wager about 2/3 of them have something either really good or otherwise above average in store. So, you know, go try it. I'll be discussing the bad ones later, but first I want to clarify something for everyone who hasn't played yet, being the formatting. So with The Hunt, again, we had 100 individual games, all functioning on their own, and after completing each quest you get a badge, which basically acted as a form of currency in The Hunt. So, once you got 95 badges in the 2-week time period that The Hunt went on for, you'd get all of the hats. The Classic does away with this system in the best possible way. My main problems with The Hunt's formatting was that games really didn't have enough time to show that they were worth playing. There was 100 of them, so focusing your attention onto one for 20 minutes didn't really allow you to get immersed in one when the next game was just always sitting there around the corner. It just moved at too much of a breakneck pace. In addition to this, objectives were also usually made in bad faith, only existing to suck up a player's time and money, and you could only skip 5 games for full completion of the event. The Classic expertly addresses all of these complaints by introducing 2 new systems. These 2 systems act as currency for the event. There's ticks and there's tokens. Tokens are required to obtain hats in the event, while ticks grant progression in the event's lobby. They're used to purchase more items in the lobby, and these items are often used to unlock more tokens. To obtain these items, there are 5 tokens in each game and 10 tickets in each of them. There's 15 games, which amounts to about 160 tickets and 80 tokens. Now, you might be saying, wait a minute, that's not how math works, and you'd be correct. There's a lot of extra currency that you can find in the game's hub itself, which is a nice refresher from the absolutely bland and generic and boring hub that was used in The Hunt. Anyway, this formatting addresses the main problems that I had with The Hunt. While most of these games do really have genuinely fun objectives, those that have really bad objectives do not need to be played for full completion of the event, more so than ever, because you can go in and collect, say, 2 tokens, and then if there's another game that you don't really want to play, as long as you get 3 tokens from there, it'll count as a full game. Splitting these rewards from one 20-minute segment to 5 10-minute segments helps the bad games just as much as it helps the good ones. You don't have to complete a game to be rewarded for playing it, but those that have drive to show their full potential will be left with far more time to create an extraordinary experience that leaves the player wanting to come back and play the game after they're done. Having 15 games in the event also helps games stand out more in the mind of a player. Instead of being 1/100th of your playtime, it's a 1/15. This also negates the feeling of being overwhelmed by how many games there are to play. It's a lot easier to dip your toes into 15 different games versus 100 of them. And out of the games that benefit from having extra time to really shine, I think Arsenal and Tower Defense Simulator are the 2 best examples. Arsenal has a campaign reminiscent of Half-Life, where you simply make the most out of fun gunplay and have to complete 5 different challenges to unlock every token. There's one for completing the event map in under 15 minutes, completing it by yourself, completing it with a starting pistol, and by finding all of the secret ticks in one go. The map itself is short, only taking about 10 minutes for me and my friend to complete, so replaying it isn't that big of a problem. Not to mention you can also complete multiple objectives at once. Speaking of which, the way that Arsenal handles multiplayer here is perfect. You can play it by yourself and go on alone, which even rewards you with an extra token, or you can play it with up to 2 of your friends. Because, that's right, if you're playing alone, you won't have to deal with the shenanigans of a public server. If you want to play with a friend though, they're able to join you. So, it's honestly perfectly executed, and I really don't have a single gripe with how this event is handled. You can take absolutely as long as you want to complete it, so for players of less skill or for those who are younger, you can literally just get all of the tokens, even if you take like an hour to do so, save for the one that requires speedrunning. But again, you can walk away with 4 of the 5 tokens and still be rewarded for your progress on this game. It addresses every problem that Arsenal had in The Hunt, and the classic art style allows the developers to get away with adding less detailed models while creating a much livelier and fuller map. Props to Rolv 100%, some of the most fun I've had on Roblox in a while, I won't lie. Tower Defense Simulator also has great progression designed around the style of the event. There's a video by Chase Rooney that I will be addressing here that just really dunks on this game segment, and I feel it's unwarranted. Your objective is to play through 5 maps, 4 unique and 1 returning that hasn't been seen since 2019. Each map you complete grants you a token. In addition, each of the 5 maps has a ticket in it. That's hard to say 5 times fast. Anyway, Chase's main problem comes from the fact that, 1, the event is pretty difficult for new players to the tower defense genre, and 2, you can't play it with friends. Now for the first point, I absolutely sympathize with that, because, funny story, I kicked a hole in my wall once when I was like 10 playing the Tower Battles Halloween event. So, I've definitely been around the block when it comes to difficult event maps in tower defense games, but here's the thing, you're given the same loadout here as anyone else who has come to complete the event. It all comes down to strategy, and the event being single player, I think, drives the community to use their own intuition and get fully immersed in the gameplay of Tower Defense Simulator. Would it benefit from Arsenal's system for multiplayer? Absolutely, but I think calling this decision absolutely disgusting is very overdramatic, and if it is too difficult for you, again, you have the same towers as anyone else. You can go onto YouTube and look at one of the 10 complete walkthroughs for the event that was out on day 1. Now, can you say that's a little bit of a cop-out? Sure, but at the same time, this is how the game plays. So, while you could argue that the game should be dumbed down for younger players, doing so to the point where it takes absolutely no brain power to complete it is just kind of false advertising, because that's not how this game plays when you start getting into it. It also just sounds really boring, to be honest. Going back to the format of the hunt, you only need to complete one map for one token. You can complete every single map for every single token if you want, but if you get stuck, you're still going to be rewarded for what you have been able to complete. Also, as for tickets being locked behind each map, there's still 5 that you can get very easily in the lobby. It's not that big. If you go looking, it'll take you maybe 2 minutes to find all of them, so you know, I respect the grind, okay? I get that he was being overdramatic for the views, and clearly it's working out for him, but I just gotta defend good game design when I see it.
I hate that. I wanted to play with my friends, and I couldn't.
I'll get into my problems with this event in a minute, but before that, I really want to just gush about the lobby for this game. I might be biased because of nostalgia or whatever, but it's just so well done. It's got several dozen references to old Roblox, from the return of the safe chat feature, to Les Epic Duck, to even Underground War, Natural Disaster Survival, and several of the old A-guns with these portals. Everywhere you go, it just feels like you're discovering a cool new little secret Easter egg that's something new, but also something clearly taken from the past, and it also helps that most of these secrets reward you with extra tokens. So you can tell that the developers at Twin Atlas had a blast making this event lobby. Not only that, but they only even listed themselves as creating the event twice, once on a billboard right here and another time under a random island. There's not a credits tab or anything for this game, so bravo to the developers, dude. They really cared about making this feel as authentic as possible, and you know you've done well when the most out-of-place thing here are the packages made and produced by Roblox for the event themselves. Bravo to Twin Atlas, man. Also, while we're here, I should mention that the hats on sale in the game have been reasonably priced this time. So far, one has been 100 Robux and another has been 500. And while that definitely isn't nothing, $6 is still the second cheapest hat in the hunt out of all 14 of those hats. So,
is that a Toontown reference? Oh my gosh. I get it. I got the reference. Let's go, man.
I think the rest of these hats are going to be used by a lot of people, because the thing is, comparing the hats in this event to those of the hunt, a lot of these hats are they're basically reimaginings of old hats that were made with R6 in mind, with the classic Roblox style in mind, so they actually work much better on the Roblox avatar than, I'd say, about 70% of the hats from the hunt, just because of the head that they were designed for, and the body type that they were designed for. So please bring back more hats like these in the future. There are not enough people using Arthro to justify making half of the hats in the event look good on Arthro first before the old Roblox avatars, man. Like, nobody cares about Arthro. Stop trying to push it onto us with these events, bruh. Anyway, I'm ranting about the hunt again, so let's just get into the stuff that we hate about this event, huh? There's not much, surprisingly. So for one, the elephant in the room is that this event is only going to last 5 days. I'm recording this at 3 days remaining, and by the time it's uploaded, well, the event will probably be on its last day, if not over. The hunt lasted 14 days, and events of similar size usually last 2 to 4 weeks.
Boys, you're not gonna believe me. The Angry Birds movie lasted for 2 weeks longer than the classic. They gave the Angry Birds movie, which, by the way, this didn't even have any games in its event. It literally just had 2 prizes here that were on the catalog for free. They gave this 2 weeks more time for people to complete it and buy the Angry Bird Red Hat and Angry Birds headphones than they gave the Classic itself. Oh my god.
I really just don't get why the Classic is only lasting 1/3 of the Hunt's length when that was already way too short. It's such a cool premise for an event, and there are so many hour-long experiences that so many people aren't going to be able to play because they're busy for this one particular week out of the year. What's the point in this? It's not like they're going to be releasing another event next week, right? I don't know, it just feels stupid and restrictive that they're only making it last a week. And I'm really hoping that we get more time in the future so that we're not, like, being rushed, so we can actually take our time and enjoy these experiences. Granted, like, again, they're only like an hour long each of them. It's only going to take like 15 hours. Compared to the entire time of week, that's not an insane amount. But, again, man, there's just like no reason to push 1 week being the allotted time for the event, other than building on people's fear of missing out. Because if you don't play it now, you're never going to be able to play it. So, I don't know, maybe it looks good to investors or something. It's just stupid. Especially when there's 3 different launcher-based items that require you to find not only a developer and a star creator, but also a Roblox admin in-game. Thank God to Dieter Plays and Lily Gia on YouTube for making live streams, giving these out. Because, man, it would be impossible to get all of these without that. Yeah, it's just stupid. Give us more time in the future, please, Roblox. This has revitalized my 8-year-old fear, dude. 8 years ago, I was playing Egg Hunt 2016, and I got actually everything from the event except for the Eggman. Because, like, dude, there were no devs on. There was no admins on. This is bull crap. Now, on top of only having 5 days to complete the event, there's also a very clear lack of quality control when it comes to the games this time around. Well, let me make this clear. Arsenal, Tower Defense Simulator, A Dusty Trip, Bee Swarm Simulator, all fantastic games with great objectives. There's probably a few more that I haven't played yet. These games are some of the most enjoyable gameplay I've seen from a Roblox game, even, in a long time period. But in specific, Livetopia and Restaurant Tycoon just really suck. These 2 games, like, they didn't do anything cool in the hunt itself, and now they've been invited onto the Classic to not only not push the envelope, but just do nothing interesting at all. One of these objectives is literally entirely reused from the hunt, and the other is just, like, become a Uber Eats delivery boy for 20 minutes. And by 20 minutes I mean per token, so that's an hour and a half of just driving back and forth from one destination to another. And at least the implementation of tokens somewhat mitigates this, because, you know, you don't have to get all 5 tokens in one game and actually spend the full hour and a half in this game to get any rewards out of it, but still, it's just not fun. And developers that didn't push the envelope the first time shouldn't be invited back for an event like the Classic, in my personal opinion. Now, I will say that Dress to Impress, okay, it's like this Barbie game, whatever, I don't care.
My eyes don't work like they used to, ever since I've been embracing my feminines.
They did actually make a really good looking obby here that's Classic themed, and you know what, I suppose they deserve to come back for that. Like, it's nothing fantastic or completely innovating, but it's alright, I guess. So, I don't know, I'm not going to complain about that, but I feel like there should be more quality control as to what games do actually get put into here, and in general with events going forward, because the games chosen for the hunt were just absolutely terrible.
Oh, guys, we have breaking news. Roblox drama just happened.
Okay, breaking news. So it turns out that one of the developers on Twin Atlas decided to kind of go rogue, really, and teleport a few players from the Classic to his own game, where you could see who the developers for the event actually were, so that people could try and get dev slices, which is item that you need to find developers in game for. One of the 5 developers that he actually listed was himself. And this is all done in an elaborate attempt to boost him to like 20,000 followers on Roblox, so he could get a verification checkmark next to his name. And that's hilarious, because that, like, ruins the credibility of Twin Atlas, who made a really awesome event hub, just to, like, get himself a Roblox checkmark. That is hilarious, dude. That could actually put Twin Atlas out of work in the future, dude. They made such a good hub here, and now they might not be even offered the opportunity to come back ever again, because of what one rogue employee did. That's insane, dude. Oh my god. So lastly, I understand that, like, some players might not understand everything going on with this event. There's a lot of old references to old mechanics and games and trends that it might be hard for some newer players to follow. And I just want to say that I appreciate Roblox putting on this event regardless, because it lets new players and old players alike explore some of the website's history in a way that honestly many have been dreaming about for years. I'm shocked that they hadn't done something like this sooner, to be honest, because back in 2013, Firefox was speculating whether or not Old Roblox was better. Like, they've been sitting on this for actually 10 years at this point. So that's a fun thought. Next video will probably be discussing nostalgia more directly. I have some really good examples of how nostalgia has impacted communities, most predominantly with games like World of Warcraft or Fortnite, but some other examples such as Minecraft or TF2, and just a lot of fun stories regarding how communities have developed with that ever-present longing for the past. Anyway, I'm getting off topic now, so I'm gonna end here. Yeah, if you have any thoughts on this event yourself, if you liked it, hated it, whatever, leave it in the comments. And if you're interested in learning about how Roblox actually stole 600,000 real-world United States dollars, click the video on screen now. And, yeah, expect bi-weekly uploads over the summer, so that's every 2 weeks. Good night, God bless, etc.